Shalom Chavrim, I'm Steve Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. It's kind of interesting what we're seeing right now, what's going on with this whole issue of the tanker there. Sorry about the lighting here. I got a little issue here going on with the lighting. But at any rate there, the Japanese tanker owner claims the crew saw flying objects before attack and denies a ship struck a landmine. And, I'm sitting here and I've been looking at some of the images they're showing. And, the U.S. has got this cockamamie story there about they're showing their video footage of this boat going up, the Iranian boat, taking a mine off the side of the ship. And what's really odd is how gullible the American public is on believing this, that the Iranians actually have done this, and I've listened to some of the, let me just see if I can find one of those there. Yeah, here we go. Here's one of these lame duck excuses there of why Iran would have actually attacked this ship in the first place. Let's listen to this here.
For the moment,
Jim Walsh.
that it was Iran rather than a false flag operation by another country in the region.
Okay, so
and then the question.
Sorry, I was going to say, you know Iran so well. You've spent time there. You've really studied it in terms of its Iranian capability, nuclear capability. Why would they do it? What's in it for them?
Well, that's the question to ask. It's not the who, but the why. And the why is the United States, by policy, after having walked away from the Iran nuclear agreement, has been to threaten Iran and to try to bring its oil exports to zero. Anyone working at Bloomberg knows that if you're trying to reduce Iran's oil exports to zero, you're trying to strangle it economically. And, in most countries in the world, if you smack them in the face or try to kill them, they push back. They just don't lie on the ground and say, beat me some more. And so for a while...
All right, now, if you buy Walsh's washed-up version idea there, is that Iran needs, they're wanting to strike back at America for the sanctions that have been done on them. So, after all, seeing as the Japanese won't go along with the sanctions that the U.S. has done, or the oil embargo, the Japanese are willing to buy the crude from Iran, trying to make peace with Iran. And of course, the Japanese Prime Minister actually coming to speak to the Ayatollah there in Iran. So we might as well just go ahead and attack the Japanese right out of the chute here and make it look like we're sending America a message. Does anybody really buy this? I mean, have we become this gullible? I'm really disturbed by this. Now, of course, according to the Japanese there, the owner of one of the tankers there, he was saying that the crew were talking about a flying object. So it may not have actually been a torpedo. Could have been an air missile. Could have been a land missile. Could have been anything. But the point is, we already knew from some of the sources that we have, I won't go into the details of that, that this was not done by Iran. Now, no country was specified as to who actually pulled the trigger, so to speak, but we knew that this is actually an intentional attack on these ships here. From what I have gathered thus far is to send a message to Japan, obey, don't step out of line. When we put an oil embargo on the country, we have an oil embargo there for a reason. You may also have the issue of showing that it's just not safe for any of the tankers to go through the Gulf of Hormuz there, and that Iran is the cause of all the problems and the woes in the region, and that therefore we're going to have to take this nation down. But what I do know for a fact that was shared with me through some intelligence that I do have on this, and that was that China is sharing technology with the Iranians, and this does have U.S. officials extremely nervous. Now, that is not necessarily the same as what's going on with these two tankers being hit, but may be enough to justify a strike on Iran. Or, and of course, if it's going to be a strike, it's not going to be anything small. I can guarantee you that. They're going to go in there and just try to clean house, but that could also backfire on us as Americans. But the whole thing is, I think when it comes down to it, the whole idea of taking and destroying democracy is really what's in it in the long run. And it's not to say that Iran is going to be able to have the capabilities of striking the United States, but Iran may have this technology from China that could really send back to the Stone Age a lot of the military capabilities there in the Middle East. That's just kind of some speculations, some of the other contacts that I had that I've spoken with since this event has taken place there to get an idea of what could be going on. That's speculative at this point. I don't know. All I know, though, is that there has been technology shared with Iran that has made the Americans very nervous, but the issue of the tanker is a totally different situation altogether. Now, when I say sending a message, though, let me kind of give you an idea as well, though. We just had this come out today on RT. U.S. warns India of serious implications if it picks Russia's S-400 over American defense promises. We had not too long ago, if you remember, the U.S. also warns Turkey over Russian S-400 missile system deal. Now we've got articles coming out. The U.S. is talking about doing sanctions on Turkey if they were to buy the Russian missile deal there. I don't trust Turkey anyway. Doesn't make any difference. I wouldn't trust Turkey. I don't care what's going on. I have no trust or anything with Turkey. But Turkey has been a very good partner with the CIA to smuggle in the sarin gas into Syria to use against the Syrian children there, only to be blamed on Bashar al-Assad in order to be able to justify an attack in Syria and to try to bring this nation down. But, you know, it just goes on everywhere. What can I say? It's just a mess. At any rate, we'll be keeping our eyes and ears open on things that are going on there. Friends, let you know what we see, what's going on. Tomorrow, by the way, me and my wife, my lovely wife, we may do this separately actually tomorrow, but she will be bringing back in studio here, discussing more of the information with Shapira and Biltz and their doing the rebuttal on that, speaking about, or answering, I should say, the video that they did, because that's basically what they did this video for, was to give us their points of view and for us to respond. So we'll be back with that once again. We may do this, though, separately, my wife, myself separately, because there's different points that we're both looking at, and it might be less confusing for those of you that are listening. We are set. August the 17th, we will be having a conference here in Orlando. We will be putting up details here hopefully this coming week. Won't be over the weekend there, but if you want to come here to Orlando to make ready for that, there will be no charge on this conference. We are going to be opening it up to the public, but there will be a mandatory registration that has to be done because we are limited on seating. We do expect to fully max out, and let me let you know up front. So if you're planning on wanting to come, think it out really carefully before you do, because what happens is once we commit to a certain size of a group that's coming, we're on the hook for that amount, and we have to pay that no matter what. And just a few people not showing up can cost us $1,000 extra. It's already expensive as it is, but it could cost us easily go up to another $1,000 for the facility, and we want to make it free this time so that other people are able to come that normally may not be able to come. But if you want to help support this, if you want to help donate towards it, we would be very appreciative. We will see if we can't live stream it as well. That may be a possibility. I can't guarantee as of right now on that. That's just something we will have to consider. The information is going to be very, very serious that we'll be speaking about. Deanne Loper will be our special guest speaker at this conference, and she'll be speaking directly after lunchtime. My wife will be speaking as well as myself, but it'll be a one-day conference. It'll start roughly around 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning on the 17th. I can tell you that much as of right now, so just so you can kind of start making plans. Again, that is August the 17th. It is a Saturday. Making sure we're keeping it on a weekend for you guys. Anyway, blessings to you all. I'm Stephen Benin with Israeli News Live. Shalom, shalom.